What's going on, y'all? Ray here with Second Chance Rising, Studio 825. And before you watch this next video, we got a little bit of sad news to share with everyone. But Bart actually passed away March the 12th, just last weekend. We filmed these rig rundowns. We probably filmed this one about 6 weeks ago, and it was scheduled to air this coming up Thursday. And I thought about pulling it and not showing it, but really I just think we want to share Bart with the world. We want to use this to remember him by. I think he would want it to be seen as well. Bart, I consider Bart a founding member of Second Chance Rising. He's been playing music with me for 10 years. Been on 5 of our CDs and another one that's yet to be released later on this year. It's kind of a best of Second Chance Rising. So he's been my right-hand man, not only even on stage, but in the studio, second opinions, and helping me produce and so forth and so on. So we're going to miss him musically, but most of all, I'm going to miss him as a friend. You could not ask for a better bandmate. We never argued. We never, the chemistry was just crazy good. You know, me and Bart got to where I could tell him what I was looking for in a particular song, and he could really just dial it in, you know, almost instantly. And his timing was impeccable, just a couple takes, and we'd usually get it down. And so I hope you enjoyed this rig rundown that's coming up from our friend, and we're certainly going to cherish it as well as a memory, and keep us and his family in your prayers and thoughts. And we thank you so much, and we'll see you again on brighter days. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this rig rundown from our friend Bart Ficzere. God bless you. Keep looking up. All right, what's going on, everybody? Ray here with Second Chance Rising. We're coming today with you with another rig rundown. Today we got Bart Ficzere. He is our keyboard player and our acoustic guitar and electric guitar player. He's got some pretty nice gear. I think you're going to stick around and check it out. So Bart's been with us now, almost a founding member, came with us just after we started Second Chance Rising. And Bart, I know that my most favorite part of the gear that you have, and the one that impresses me the most as it can be, is your Gibson Les Paul. So can you show us that and tell us a little bit about this Gibson Les Paul? Because I know that if nothing else impresses you that he's got, it's going to be this Les Paul.
Okay, this is a 1958 Gibson Les Paul.
That's a real 58 or a reissue?
That's a real 58. I rescued this from a metal building that had been in there for about 25 years and was completely corroded. So I had to completely go through the entire guitar. Unfortunately, some of the hardware on this had to be replaced, so it's not original. But the pickups are the original 58 PAFs. And you can tell it's original because it weighs a ton.
Yeah, how much does she weigh, Bart? I remember
about 16.5 pounds.
The reason I don't play many Les Pauls.
This one is extremely heavy, but I've also got other pieces like this pick guard that is marine brass. That adds extra weight to it. I actually have pieces that go on the back to take care of these, but these are the original pieces on it. Unfortunately, this was all badly scribed up with the former owner. He did all kinds of work on it, and unfortunately...
He did some artwork. Now, do you know any history about the artwork or anything about it particularly?
Well, this came from the Vietnam area. Puff the Magic Dragon was named after a plane. And the rose was something that he came up with based on Bette Midler's song, The Rose. Other than that, the only other piece that was added was this dove on the front, which broke up the black field. I wouldn't want to try and take it off because I don't blame you. Yeah, it's going to make a mess out of things.
You know, this 58 has a lot of history and just a lot of character, and you know, we would think now that would be almost sacrilegious to do this to a guitar. But you know, in that day and time,
They did
people modified guitars, you know, like crazy. I've seen some famous Strats. They just actually dug out and added pickups and taken pickups out and all sorts of things. Now Bart does a lot. He loves a 12-string guitar. He's got some 12-string acoustics. He's got some 12-string electrics, and one of them that he's just picked up a few years ago is this Hagstrom, and it is a sweet beauty. There is no engravings on it. He's probably not going to do any engravings or carvings.
Oh
on
no,
this one.
no! This one is a 2007 Hagstrom Viking. Hagstrom was originally a Swedish company. It was bought out by a Chinese outfit. The Vikings, to the credit of the company that bought out Hagstrom, have maintained the original specs and everything on them, including the pickups and all of that. It's still just like it would be if Hagstrom was building it. Even the materials that they use are still the same that Hagstrom would have used.
Tell me about the tuning, man. Is it hard to keep in tune? I know.
Actually, this one stays in
tune.
This one stays in tune very, very well. 16.5 to 1 tuners instead of the normal 9 or 8 to 1s.
Right.
This is double, so it takes a while when you got to restring it.
Now, what gauge strings are you using on the
I'm using the light gauge.
Okay.
Light gauge, and the only company that makes them, believe it or not, is Diodario.
Right. Now, I forgot to ask you, but what gauge string? Because I know guitar players, they've always wanted, hey, what gauge strings are you using on? What gauge strings were you using on Les Paul?
10s.
10s, okay.
And that's also
pretty common.
That's a Diodario string as well.
That's awesome. Now tell us about the acoustic. I know that you had a hard time finding a case for this acoustic, and it's fairly new to your lineup. And
Yeah.
we had practice today, and it sounds beautiful.
This is a Blue Ridge Jumbo Dreadnought, which means she's a lot bigger than most guitars. This one is a BG 1500E. This one I picked up probably about 1.5 years ago. I like the fact that it went with a bone bridge and a bone nut. It has its own electronics built in. It's got the Fishman 3 electronics in it.
They make some good electronics for acoustics.
This particular guitar has probably got one of the fastest actions I've seen for an acoustic 6-string in a long time.
I was just fixing to comment on that because I played this guitar before, and it has an action almost like an electric. And I don't know if you can get a shot of it on how low the action is on this acoustic, how well it's going to show up in the camera or not, but it has a fairly low action for an acoustic, and it does play very easy. And Bart makes it look easy too, right? Right. Now, we kid around, we joke with Bart. We tell Bart he is the king of vintage gear. Now, I was lucky enough to inherit somewhat a 71 Princeton reverb amp from you. We didn't want to let it complete. He had 2 of them. A good friend of the band's got one of them. I didn't want both of them to leave our home, so to speak. So I have the other one that we'll talk about in another gear review. But right now, Bart, you're using on the electric, it's a couple PV Classics.
Yeah, these are the PV Classic 30s. This is the best thing that I could come up with. It still utilized the vacuum tube for an output. It's got the 12AX7s for your preamp, and it's got the, oh lordy, can't remember them. But they're pretty common.
But now tell us about the, now this is vintage here. We were joking around about the 90s. I think this thing dates back to the 80s, but this GSP-21 Legend, this processor that, we have all the fractals now. We have all the Line 6s, but I guess this is probably one of the earliest units that I know of. So tell us about what you're kind of running this little rack gear that you have here.
Okay, the GSP-21 Legend, I bought this thing back in the mid-90s, and it was already used when I got it. And I've been using it ever since. It was one that when I first saw it, I said, that's the sound I like. So the tuner underneath it is a chord tuner. That's pretty common. Back in the day, they used to have the chord tuner built that was rack mounted along with the processor. And on the bottom, of course, is your power distribution unit. And that's just to make sure that instead of having to need 3 outlets to plug everything in, I can plug everything in one outlet.
That's awesome. Now, your latest piece of gear, I know that you acquired that sounds awesome. is your acoustic processor that you're using, so we can go straight into the board.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that, and if Keith, you may have to come around here and get a little shot of that.
Okay, this is the Trace Elliott Transit A. I just purchased this for the acoustic guitars. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, doesn't require a whole lot of brain power to set up. It sets up very easily and very quickly. I like the way it sounds. This was something that I said, okay, if electric guitars can have toys, can't the acoustics as well?
That's
so
what I'm talking
that's
about.
my new toy.
Now tell us what all is on there. Now we may do a gear review one day, and just kind of a review just specifically on that here coming up. So if y'all haven't subscribed yet to our channel, if y'all haven't liked our channel yet, then I encourage you to do that, like and subscribe. We're going to be having lots more gear reviews, recording techniques on how we record, how we get different tones with some of our sounds. And we've also got some new music always coming out, so make sure that you like and subscribe. But tell us a little bit, Bart, about everything that it has. It's got a chorus, a reverb.
It's got chorus, reverb, delay, and a boost.
Okay.
Basically all the pieces that are on it. Right now it's set up for all of the major pieces as far as reverb, chorus, and delay. I've got the boost turned off.
Been pretty easy to set up, pretty easy to dial in.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And it looks pretty simple. It looks like a great little unit. I never had heard of that unit till you asked me to check that out. I'm almost jealous that it's something I haven't bought yet for guitars, right? So Bart also a big thing that what he does for us in the band is he's our rock down here with this RD700, this Roland. And I would consider that vintage, even though they're still very well used, very well known.
This one's about 20 years old. She's seen a lot of road mileage. This came out of my former band, and this has been across 4 or 5 different states now, and it's got its character marks, including the one where we dropped it one afternoon going onto a stage.
And we almost tested to see how well it floated as well, right?
Yeah, we did get rained on in one gig.
Yeah, so but everything still works on it, and Bart makes it sound good, and we're lucky. This is a nice keyboard. It really adds a lot of character to our band, from the organs to clean pianos, and so it's been pretty awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed that rig rundown with Bart. We certainly enjoyed filming it for you and sharing. If there's anything else that you'd like to see specifically, leave a comment below. We'll be doing more of these, so I hope that you'll subscribe. I promise you we'll get better at shooting these videos and becoming a little bit smoother, so really appreciate y'all tuning in, appreciate your support. God bless you, and keep looking up, and don't forget to subscribe.